Hey Clashers, Ash Lane here coming at you today reviewing what could be the best underdog deck that I've seen in the game. We'll talk about why over the course of the next two replays, but before so, let's take a look at Manu's profile here. Now Manu, you can see, is only a level 9 and currently in the game he is the third ranked level 9 player globally in the entire game. So he's definitely been doing a lot of winning with this deck, having a lot of success with it, and it's a pretty simple deck design. It has two new cards. It has the Princess and it has the Dark Prince. We'll talk about maybe some cards you can substitute in for the Princess if you don't have it yet. Otherwise, it should be a fairly easy deck to replicate if you need to. Now you'll notice he's going to be going up against level 11s and level 10s here, and again he's only a level 9. So let's take a look at the actual deck. Now originally he told me he was playing the Arrow card instead of the Zap, but he actually added the Zap in. He found it more useful in his Zap. You know, I'm seeing more and more Zap being used on TV Royale by the top players. I always love the Zap card. You guys remember that I actually used the Zap in the YouTuber tournament. The card was a little bit different then. I believe it was only 1 elixir cost at that point. Could be wrong there, but I think it was a 1 elixir cost card, and it had a little bit wider range, but now it's starting to see more of it, and I like the Zap card a lot. Otherwise, it has the Musketeer, it has the Dark Prince, it has the regular Prince, the Zap Goblins, Princess, and Elixir Pump, as well as the Barbarians. So the good thing about this deck, what makes it so good, and especially as an underdog, is it's just full of great counters. You can use the Princess as a really long range attack or at range defense. You're seeing a lot of Princess on defense as well. Albeit low hit points, she does have that multi-arrow there that can do a little bit of damage to low hit point units because of the multiple projectiles. So with the Zap spell, obviously you can use that to take down the low hit point units. And then the speed of the deck is great too. On offense, you can use the Prince in combination with the Dark Prince as fast moving offensive weapons, and obviously you guys already know by now, but the Dark Prince and the Prince are valuable defensive weapons as well. So there's just really every card, except for obviously the Elixir Pump, has a good offensive and defensive purpose here. And even with the Spear Goblin and the Zap spell, it's keeping the average elixir cost of the deck relatively cheap. So it has a nice mix of a little bit more expensive cards with the 5 cost and a little bit more cheaper cards with the Zap and the Spear Goblins. So at this point, he's kind of just waiting. The last minute has arrived, double elixir time, and this is where the deck, like most decks, really can have an opportunity to shine here. So it's a tie game right now. He's playing somebody who's level 11. She seems to be she seems to be using this this deck with the Mortar and the Expo, a real dirty deck, and also the Huts. So it's an interesting deck. It has the Huts supported by the Expo, Baby Dragon, Minion Horde, and the Mortar. And honestly, Manu's doing exactly what you should do against a deck like this. Be patient, and more so against somebody who's a higher level than you, in this case 2 levels higher than you. You gotta be patient. You gotta let the game kind of come to you, let the battle come to you. You don't want to really rush things. So you can see he's building his Elixir Pump. He's trying to maintain an Elixir advantage if at all possible. Even against surges like this, he still has that Zap spell handy, so you can take down those Minion Hordes or whatever else comes at him. And there it is. Nice 1-0 win against somebody 2 levels higher than him. Manu does it again. He's on a really nice streak right now as I'm recording this. He has, I believe he said he has 4 wins in a row. So chat is blowing up. Let's make sure I get the right replay here. Okay, it's against Boottramp, so shout out to Boottramp. Great YouTuber. Boom Beach primarily, but he covers Royale as well. So boom. So what is Boottramp playing here? He's level 10, so again, Manu is the underdog, as he is, you know, 90% of the time up there near 3,400 cups. And he's going to start off the same exact way as the last match. He's going to start off with the Elixir Pump, placing it a little bit in front of his tower, so he's kind of protecting his tower with the Elixir Pump, kind of waiting to see what the opponent does. Now, he is the underdog, obviously. Have I mentioned before that he's the underdog, guys? Well, the idea is don't rush things. You take things slow as the underdog. You play from an elixir advantage. You'll notice all throughout this match, Manu almost consistently always has the elixir advantage. That's because that's what you have to do as an underdog. You have to let the game come to you. So here he goes again. He's doing a little bit of an offensive surge by using the barbarians as well as the spear goblins. Then he has the princess even further back, backing them up against a P.E.K.K.A. So at this point, look at the elixir discrepancy, right? So he's sitting in a pretty nice position here. And this deck is just full of counters. He can use the zap against the P.E.K.K.A. Zap, boom. Zap now stuns the targets. Obviously, you guys probably have noticed that, but that's another plus. It stopped that P.E.K.K.A. from getting one swing in, and then boom. Catches Boot Tramp with only 5 elixir total, and then he played the Prince and the Dark Prince combination against that left tower. So Boot Tramp was able to counter with a Barbarian, but not before Manu got a few hit points, or more than a few hit points, off that left tower. So now he's just going against a couple Barbarians. Boot Tramp's trying to reload with the Elixir Pump. And look at the cards. It's just like you always have the flexibility here. So Manu can go ahead and play the Elixir Pump if he wants to right now, or he can turn it into an offensive surge again. Use Barbarians and a Musketeer with that Princess backing them up. So you can see the nice spacing of this deck, right? He has the long range unit in the Princess, the semi-range unit in the Musketeer, and then the melee units in the Barbarians. And indeed, he was able to take down that left tower. And look at this. Again, Elixir full, So now he has a decision to make. Do you want to put the pump, or do you want to just keep putting the Princess down? He does. He does. The Prince and the Princess are both on the board. This is a Royal deck if I have ever seen one. Just need the Royal Giant, and then it would be complete. But you can see this is just a great underdog deck. So if I haven't stressed enough why it's a great underdog deck, well, hopefully I'll surmise it right here in the last 30 seconds of the video. It has all of the cards to provide great offense and great defense, and you're able to manage your elixir really easily. There's no really expensive cards, but there's still powerful enough cards from the Musketeer and both of the Princes that you can actually, put a good offensive surge, and the Barbarians. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to highlight any other type of decks. I really like the underdog deck idea, so I will be doing future episodes of that. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care.
We don't play for fame, we don't play for cash. We just play for the